The charming lad who bowled you all over with his performance in Iqbal now returns as Pravin Tambe. But of course, no points for guessing. The charmer is Shreyas Talpade. But Kaun Pravin Tambe, you ask? Well, to answer that question, I'm joined on the broadcast for this very special conversation by Pravin Tambe himself. And of course, Shreyas Talpade, who is bowling those perfect medium pacers and spinners. Welcome, guys. And Shreyas, I'm sure you have like an alternate career that you can look at now.
This is so funny. Seriously, no. There's this friend of mine who called me yesterday, and he said, "Okay, henceforth, anybody making a film on cricket, they will have to take one NOC from you." All right. So,
yeah, good thing to hear about. When I know about this movie and when I know that Shreyas is playing my role. So everyone is very happy actually to hear that Shreyas is doing my role, because we have seen him before in Iqbal, and the way he performed there was heartwarming for us. And the way he did my role, actually, when I was watching this movie, I could see myself in that role.
नहीं प्रवीण, बट ये छोड़िए, आप मुझे ये बताइए, हाउ इज ही एज अ बॉलर? एक्टर तो सबको पता है दैट ही इज गुड, बट हाउ इज ही एज अ बॉलर?
To be honest, he is bowling leg spin better than me, actually. He's as a bowler, I always tell him, it's very difficult for me to teach my youngsters how to bowl leg spin. But I think Shreyas has done that job within 1 or 2 weeks. So as a bowler, I think hats off to him, because the way he picked all the wrist spin and everything was absolutely amazing.
My God, Shreyas, that's the biggest compliment that you can receive, I feel.
ever, absolutely, no doubts about that. I mean, this guy is extra sweet, I must say. He's extremely generous and very, very sweet. I guess he's a good teacher. The way he taught me and the way he taught me right in the couple of days, that is probably the reason why I somewhere got it a little right. And I think he's also a big liar when he says that I'm a better spinner than him. I am not at all.
Stress. Believe me, because I'm coaching from now last 7-8 years, and I see how difficult it is to teach leg spin, because it's not easy to spin with your wrist and all, right? But you picked up in 1 or 2 weeks. So that's what I said. It's amazing to see. We all know that you are a very great actor, good actress, the way you act. But as a sports person, as a leg spinner, you did a great job there, honestly.
Thank you.
Wow. So Shreyas की बहुत तारीफ हो गई है. Now it is over to you, Praveen. I will tell you, this is something that I was talking to Shreyas about before this interview started, and this was part of our dinner conversation, by the way, very late in the night, when I just mentioned Pravin Tambe. Both my brother and my husband, they just went on and on about how great a player you are and what did you achieve at that age and everything. It just did not stop, and it went on till about midnight. That is the kind of conversation that happened at home.
Yeah, actually, this story is not mine. Actually, this story of every individual, because I have never thought what to achieve in my life. But I love this game. I'm so passionate about this game, and I just keep dreaming my dream, actually. And the way I can't explain. I never thought about any negativity while in this journey, and I think with that mindset, I have achieved whatever I am right now.
If I may say something here.
Okay. And Shreyas, yes.
When I met Praveen, and now we've had multiple interactions over a period of almost a year or so. This man truly doesn't have a negative bone in his body. I have never seen him complain or say anything negative about anyone or the sport or whatever missed chances and things like that. The only thing he knows is to play his game and play to the best of his potential. And that, I think, is such an important lesson for us to learn, because that is all that he kept doing all his life, and where that thing has got him today.
And Shreyas, I'll continue with this. This is a biopic on the cricketer and late bloomer. Everybody is hailing him as that because people are kind of unfortunately struck on that one factor, which is the age factor. When it comes to, do with Mr. Tambe, obviously after seeing his game, that's a different conversation altogether. Now, he's a well-known name in Mumbai club cricket, and he has become the oldest cricketer to make his debut in the history of IPL. How much did you know of him before you actually, before this film guys actually approached you to actually play him on screen? And what is it now? How much of Pravin have you known after that journey that you've lived of his through cinema?
So of course, all of us are avid fans of IPL, and so when I saw him play first in IPL, obviously he looked older than all the other younger cricketers out there, right? I mean, they were 19, 20, 22-year-olds. And suddenly you see this guy. And I still remember all my friends were watching that particular match. And I suddenly came into the room and I said, oh, wow, who's this guy? And they said, boss, he's Pravin Tambe. He did his debut now at the age of 41. So I said, kisi ke jaan pehchan se aaya hai kya? Because, you are programmed to think in a particular manner. And you're just not thinking out of the box. So they said, nahi, arey, bahut acha khelta hai, must perform karta hai, tu game de kiska? And of course, then I saw his game and he was outstanding. He had more energy than all those other youngsters put together. So that is when, as an actor, as a filmmaker, you tend to think, what was this guy doing till the age of 41? Kahan tha ye? Kya kar raha tha? Iske piche ki kahani kya hai? And then you tend to forget about it. And then suddenly you get a call one day after a few years from Friday Film Works कि हम लोग ऐसी कहानी plan कर रहे हैं on Pravin Tambe. And I was so excited. I was overjoyed. I said, I want to know what this story is all about. And of course, when I heard the story, I was completely amazed at the kind of perseverance, dedication, determination, all of that put together that this guy had. And when I met him, like I just mentioned, I felt as if I'm meeting my long lost brother after a lot of years. I never felt that, I'm meeting Pravin Tambe for the first time. He's such a warm, positive guy. Of course, I still remember we hugged and he was a little shy at that point in time. And then, of course, we had our little conversation and then we said, okay, let's start our training. And in training is when I really saw him, in full action. Because you speak to him about cricket, and he can go on for hours together. You speak to him about anything else, he will, answer in monosyllabics. But there he was in full glory, on that field, in the nets, teaching me about spin bowling and everything. And then I started having more conversations with him, wherein I learned that he truly believes in this line that age is just a number. It doesn't bother him. It makes no sense for him whether he's 41 or 45 or 50. He just wants to play his game, and he plays it to the best of his ability, which is the best thing to learn from this guy. That is my biggest takeaway from knowing Pravin Tambe, that age really is just a number.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No expiration date for, talent, true talent. Now, Pravin, when you got to know that your story is something that has fascinated a filmmaker so much that it needs telling, this is what was felt by the filmmaker. How did you actually take this news when they actually came to you that they are going to make a biopic on your story, on your life?
To be honest, actually, I was surprised because I wanted to play that time. And I said, why movie on me? Why this now? Because I just started playing. I just made my debut and I wanted to play. And why this biopic on me? And then after a few months, Sudeep Tiwari ji just keep calling me about this thing. Like, we want to make a biopic. We want to know the story behind your success. Like, what you have done at the age of 41, you played. Everyone knows that. But what is the story 20 years back?
I just like to share a story.
I felt like, because I was getting calls from my friends or someone like whom I don't know. And I used to give everyone, I used to give answers like this happens. But when I thought about this, I think about this, okay, through this biopic, I'm going to send this message to each and everyone. I don't have to answer a single person, So through this biopic, I can send the message. So that time I realized that, okay, this biopic is not on me, but because of everyone who are a little bit down in their life can, get inspired through this movie. So yeah, I said, okay, I'm going with it.
And Shreyas, I've asked you this question vis-a-vis your bowling, but I have just been prompted by people who follow your work not just on screen but also on field, that you play the game much better than most others who are not cricketers in real life. That passion also was depicted on screen, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was, to be very honest, as a kid, I was a pretty pathetic cricketer. And we were a joint family. And, I remember all my three brothers were always part of cricket teams, and they played the Kanga leagues and things like that. And I was never there. And my eldest brother was pretty embarrassed because of that, कि हम तीनों खेलते and this guy is not even in the first 15. So I remember, as soon as I passed my 10th grade, my elder brother, he, woke me up at like 5 in the morning and said, okay, get ready. I've got you cricketing whites. So get ready. I said, we are going. I said, where? So he said, just come. And he took me to Shivaji Park. He enrolled me in Atsrekar sir's nets. And that's where I just started playing again. So, but that is where I actually, started playing a little well. That built my confidence a bit. And then when I came back to our gully cricket again, I was a little better cricketer. I was part of the playing 11 then. And yes, I mean, I got a little more passionate about the game. Also, probably because my eldest brother felt that he's the new Ajit Tendulkar and probably I'll be the new Sachin Tendulkar. But I started playing well. I was happy. and then I got in college and I got into dramatics. But I would go for the practice in the morning and then come to college. But at one point, it was too tiring. So I told my brother that, Dada, I can't manage both these things, college and dramatics and cricket, everything. So he said, what is it that you want to do? So I said, I'll probably go with dramatics, I'll drop cricket. So he was not very happy with that choice of mine, but nevertheless, he said, okay, if that is what's going to make you happy, you go. But yes, the passion still remained. And also because, I somewhere knew that I was not good at it, I will have to put an extra effort to make sure that, I'm good. So I did that. In fact, Iqbal also, to a very large extent, helped me to, understand the dynamics of shooting a cricketing film. That's where that experience came handy with shooting Pravin Tambe as well.
Right. And, Praveen, every boy specifically, I'm not being, genderist over here, but every Indian boy always, while growing up, wants to be a cricketer, like Shreyas just said. Obviously, he took another choice and his career really steered in another direction, but we also know what has he achieved on field, even if it's on air. So, what about you? What age did you think that आपको यही बनना है, आपको cricketer बनना है? When did that dream of being a cricketer representing India really begin for you?
I used to follow my dad actually. He used to play football, cricket, both sports he used to play, and I just go and watch him playing. And as I grow, he was playing for his company as well, Johnson & Johnson, as a good all-rounder cricketer. So I just watched him, and then when I grew, I started liking these sports very much. And then just watching my dad, I love this game so much. Like, I couldn't stop playing this. Whenever I got time after my school, after my college, I used to go and play cricket.
Very nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Shreyas, the fact that you're doing a beautiful work and it's across languages, it's not just restricted to Hindi cinema. It's also Marathi, that OTT show that you're doing, and also the daily soap that you're doing. Something that you have been associated with from the very start. Unfortunately, not much talk about it because obviously people tend to cater to only what is, so to speak, popular in the more populist sort of definition. But just take us through that association and the conscious choice that you've made as an actor. Because you started out with Iqbal and also Door. People considered you in that serious space. You took time, actually broke from that zone also, and did those flurry of comedy films also, and people could see that comic timing really coming. Now there is OTT. There's also a daily soap that we're talking about. How did you actually channel your career through like that? And what was the thought behind it that you are going to actually delve in all these spheres?
Oh, wow. It's a long list of questions, but I'll take one thing at a time. So basically,
Yeah.
When I started with Iqbal, people loved the film. People liked my performance in it. But I was termed a serious actor after Iqbal. I remember I had gone for a particular audition after Iqbal for a comedy film, which is a pretty hit franchise today. And I auditioned for it, and I was told that, you know what, the audition was good, but you have a very serious image. So it'll be difficult for us to really convince the audience that you can do comedy as well. So I said, okay, no issues, fair enough. I'll keep trying. And that was the era of a lot of multi-starrer comedies being made, like, the Dhamal and Golmaal and Houseful and a lot of Dhol and a lot of other multi-starrer comedies. And suddenly I felt that, if I am termed this serious actor thingy, and if I want to do comedy, I need to prove myself, So it became a challenge for me, and luckily at that point in time, I was approached for Golmaal Returns, and the film worked. My work got appreciated, and that's where the whole flurry of comedy films started. To the point where today people started knowing me as an actor who does only comedy, forgetting the fact that I started with a serious film like Iqbal. So again, it became a challenge for me to prove yet again that no, if it's a serious role, I can do that as well. And that's where, luckily for me, Pravin Tambe came in, and now people, of course, have seen it and they've liked it. So thankfully, that typecasting of image will hopefully change from here on. Also, what has happened in the last couple of years, of course, my career in films, to be very honest, in the last few years wasn't really going great. So there were not enough. I mean, I probably wasn't liking the roles that were coming my way. Certain films didn't work. And to be honest, a lot of people had also written me off. Ho gaya bas, itna hi hoga. Of course, there were trollers aplenty who would say ki Golmaal hoga, to inko naukri milegi, nahi to inka kuch lena dena nahi hai. So yes, I mean, it definitely, hurts you. But then you say that, okay, just wait, just be patient enough, and, just keep playing your game, as they say.
Absolutely, and probably that's where you relate with Pravin and his never say die attitude. It's pretty similar, while you are actually striving and excelling in the kind of associations that you choose to be a part of in cinema, Pravin has done the same on ground. Now, Pravin, coming to you, Rahul Dravid called you an inspiration in the cricketing world. How important was that comment for you?
Coming from the legend itself is a heart touching for me, because over the years I have watched him playing for India, doing so many great things. So coming from his mouth about me, I actually literally cried when I heard that interview of him. So definitely it boosts your energy as well, and it was touching for me and for my family as well, because over the years they have seen me going and playing these sports with I was very passionate about it. But when it comes from Rahul Dravid sir, it was means a lot for me and for my family.
Okay.
And actually,
and when you watched the film, there was a special screening. There was a special screening which all of us have now seen, and your reaction also. So it's a question jiska answer I already know, but I'll still go ahead and ask this. When you saw the film and you watched Shreyas play you on screen, on the silver screen, how did you feel inside? I mean, what was going in that heart and head of yours?
Actually, maybe I was in quarantine with KKR that time, so I couldn't go to watch this movie before it released. So I have seen that movie first time with my KKR's players and staff. When I'm watching that movie itself, I never thought that Shreyas is playing that role, actually, to be honest. I saw myself on that screen, and I was so emotional after watching that film. When they were asking me some questions, I couldn't answer also, because I was emotional. The way Shreyas played that role, I never thought that Shreyas is playing that role, actually. I have seen myself in that role. And that brings, emotions and tears in my eyes after watching this film with my fellow mates, So, yeah, it was very emotional, and there were no words to express the way, Shreyas played that role. The whole film, I was watching me and the whole characters, those who have played my family members' role, they did a very good job, because I have seen each and every crew of that movie as my friends and family, because that movie doesn't look like, it's a movie. It's like my real life I was watching on TV. So it was really like, emotional for me after watching that movie, and I couldn't speak actually after that.
Wow. So Praveen has, those good words for you, Shreyas, and this is again, at the cost of repeating myself, one of the best compliments that you possibly are receiving from the man you have played on screen. He's saying that you are the best person to have done that on screen. So how does it feel now that it's happening live? You can hear him say that. How would you respond to it?
It's the biggest reward an actor can ever get. I think nothing bigger than that, because when I started shooting for this particular film, the only thought in my mind was to make sure that Pravin feels proud of the film and the performance. So that was the only thing that kept nagging me, worrying me, concerning me every time with every shot that I was doing. That how will Pravin react to this particular thing when he sees this? Because it's a huge responsibility. It's going to be there for life. And it is his life that you're portraying on screen. So it better be justified, more than anything. So I was a little concerned. And like Pravin said, that because he was in that bio bubble, so he couldn't watch the screening with us before the release. But his family was there. And his wife, I went and I asked her, that आप बताइए आपको कैसा लगा, and she was also very emotional. She was in tears and she said, no, I loved it. And then I of course saw Pravin after the screening of KKR, which we got those videos of, and then I called him the other day, when I said Tambe kasa watla, and he had just finished watching it again, all over again, and he was emotional again. And he said, I loved it, thank you so much. And I didn't see you on screen, I saw myself. And that, I guess, for me was the biggest compliment ever. It cannot get bigger than this, because this film is going to stay for life, right? And our kids, his kids, his grandkids, everybody's going to watch that, and they need to feel proud about the fact that whatever their dad, their grandfather, whatever he's done. So it was a huge responsibility, and now that it's over,
he's getting emotional right now also, Shreyas. He's getting emotional right now also. I mean, what I love about this conversation is both of you are so honest, and it actually has shown us on screen through you, Shreyas, and also right now as I'm speaking to both of you. It's absolutely beautiful. And Pravin, the fact that you're getting emotional, it speaks how much has this performance of Shreyas really touched you and tugged you at your heartstrings.
Yeah, definitely, because I have never thought. I have just heard about the movies and all is going on, but after watching him perform, it was really...
That's so beautiful, and it's so heart-touching that, you have two powerhouse performers in their own respective fields, and it's a mutual admiration, and most rightly so. I much like to actually continue this conversation because it's so honest, but I'd like to end on a high note. And Shreyas and Pravin, I spoke about how my family responded to this film, how my family has already spoken highly of Pravin Tambe, the cricketer, the legend. I have got another reaction while I was doing this interview from a colleague, from a journalist, and I'd like to read this out to you. And she has mentioned, this is Avni, who is a news anchor right here on Mirror Now, and she says, you are interviewing Shreyas and Pravin. This is so cool. I just finished watching the film yesterday and I absolutely loved it. Shreyas was just so awesome, and so glad that you're doing this interview with both of them. And she's also said that after a long time, I had tears in my eyes after watching a film. Please convey this to both of them whenever you get a chance. So I'm doing that. This is from an honest audience.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shreyas and Pravin, for joining us. And this has been a beautiful conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.